Mr. Ye, please say hello to our viewers. Hello. So what are they doing now? Once they have chosen their subjects, and they will start to paraglide. As we know that the competition of paraglide depends on the weather, but today's weather is very nice, so the condition is good for the competition, right? If the weather is nice and it's sunny, it's good for the competition. But because today the wind is relatively strong, so it's not so proper for the paragliding. So we cannot do the very difficult or very massive movement. We need to follow the direction of the wind. And now they are calculating when the wind direction will change. So if you go against the wind, it will affect the distance and the height. It will also cause the failure and other mistakes. Before I come here, I also did research. I know that paragliding event is divided into 4 categories. The first one is the positioned, that is the specific landing, and the second is the competition, and the third is the entertainment. Today is the cross-border competition, but which is not familiar to many viewers. Can you introduce it to us? This is just like the marathon competition. You need to fly to one point and then fly back. Let's take a look at the board. Let our cameraman shoot this image. This speed racing requires that because we have set different points at different places, and you can see the points here, like this one, 8001 is where we are, and the A13 is at the west of our place. These are set before, and the athletes will divide and choose these points, choose the order of these points, and they will choose like at first they will land at which place and then land at which place. So the speed racing firstly requires high speed, and secondly it requires their sense of direction. The most important thing is the speed. They compete that which one arrives at the point the first, who will win the highest score. Specifically, what are the equipment on the athletes and what are the highlights or the requirements before the competition? We will introduce to our viewers one by one. And here we also arrange some experience programs. Later on, there will be our viewers to take part in this event. The rule for this competition is that once the competition has started, the audiences cannot stay in the area of the competition. That's why we want to do today's live stream. So, Mr. Ye, let's first go to visit the area of the competition. We want to introduce the equipment of the paragliders to our viewers and what are the difference between them and other players. Can you briefly introduce to us about Anji Mountain? What about the altitudes? this place has different characteristics. And it's about 780 meters high, so this is very suitable for the cross-border paragliding. Because this can generate power and can support the higher flying. Even if the athletes miss one time of airflow, they can wait for another one because there are times of airflow here. So this is very suitable for the race. As we all know, a paraglider is powered by the air engine, air power. And we can see the wind is strong. But for common people, we may think that with stronger wind, the height can be higher. But no, that's not the thing. For this paragliding event, it has a strict standards and requirement on the wind. If the wind is too high, which is higher than a 5-degree level, we do not suggest the competition to continue. So how do you monitor the wind? Yeah, we have the device. But usually, because we have the experience, we can know the condition of the wind and know the speed of the wind. So usually, we can also use the device. This is the monitoring device to test the wind. This is a small device. You can see there is a hole here, and in the hole is the propeller. So once there is wind, the propeller will roll around, and then it can test the strength of the wind and also the speed of the wind. We can have a try. And now the speed is 3.2. If this figure is less than 5, we can continue. And now our viewers can see two images. On the right is the video in the past. This is the competition, and you see they are just like the ballet dancers in the sky. This is quite interesting. And now we are at the area of the competition. Before it starts, we will invite our guests who are our audiences, and they will carry this camera and show the view from the sky. Can you introduce to us about their equipment? I did research. I know that they need to bring the paragliding wings and also the harness. And this is non-power paragliding experience. There is no power. So all the power comes from the wind, like the common wind and the hot stream wind. Because this is just experiencing, so the visitors, the passengers will follow the pilot. Okay, let me firstly tell you about the equipment. This is the seat back. It's just like the chair. And they will fly with the trainer. The parachute is different from the competition. Because the passengers haven't experienced this sky parachuting, and they don't know how to control the speed. And this is the helmet. This is to protect their heads. And this is necessary. And there are also equipment to protect our elbows and knees, because you need to lean forward during the paragliding. So sometimes you may fall down on the ground, which is easily hurting the knees. But for them, the sport fans are the first learners. What are the highlights they need to pay attention to? Now she is doing the preparation and she is being trained. You need to run forward before the trainer shouts stop. So what will this bring? This will support the paragliding. It's just like the landing off of the plane. This will offer the power, the push power of the paragliding. And the rule of paragliding is just the same as the airplane. The power comes from the airstream. So during the landing off, the people need to run forward. So as these parachutes are different from the competition one, what are the other differences? How about the weight? There are much differences. Like the range is between 20 kilogram to 100 kilogram. But for the competitive parachutes, the higher standards of the parachutes, the higher weight it needs. For example, one parachute can carry 70 to 100 kilograms. But for the professional parachutes, the range can only be within 10 kilometers, like 80. By saying weight, you mean people's weight? No, all the whole total weight, including the device and equipment. Like for some pilots, if his weight is light, but the requirement of the parachutes are 90 kilograms, then he needs to carry more equipment. Why? Why do they need to add the equipment? Will this support the paragliding? Yes, because this parachute requires 80 kilogram to 90 kilogram. If the total weight plus the equipment cannot reach this kilogram, the speed will be very slow. So that will result in limited score. So he cannot give full play to his strength. And for these higher standard parachutes, it is quite sensitive. So for any slight differences or changes of the airstream, it can sense and react to that. Once it's too light, this change may result in the different accidents of the parachutes. And now we can see the experiencing visitors are prepared well, and the athletes are also here. For today's rule, The visitors will experience first. After them, the athletes will start to compete. So what are the procedures for paragliding? Once the wing of the paragliding is opened, we will send them out one by one. Okay, let me first interview these visitors. Hello. You will fly up before the athletes. So what's your feeling? I see you also have a selfie sticker. They gave this to me. I feel nervous actually. My heart is beating quickly, but just now the trainer told me it will be very stabilized in the sky. Have you experienced it before? No. So, wish you a good journey. And now I will give our camera to that lady. Once she is flied up, she will continue our live stream. How do you feel? I feel nervous. And you can see these visitors are ready to fly up into the sky. Today's sky is very blue and it's very clear. So hope later on they can bring our viewers more live image. I also want to tell our viewers that because with the higher altitude, the poor the signal is. So maybe there will be technical problem of our cell phones. But it doesn't matter because we will also continue the live stream on the ground. We are looking forward to these people. And about the athletes, they are from 7 countries and regions. And there are also fans and audiences from around the country. And we can see people are carrying with cameras and cell phones. They want to take photos. And now we can see the first visitor. They will try it again because of the direction of the wind. Okay, dear viewers, if you are just joining us, we are now in Anji Mountain, Zhejiang province, and here is the international paragliding event. Soon, 50 top paragliders from 7 countries and regions will compete. And soon we will also give our camera to these sports fans because they will experience the paragliding before the official competition. And they will show our viewers the beautiful video, beautiful scenery from the sky. So Mr. Ye, just now you said they are doing the preparations. Can you reveal some secrets? What are the difference between their equipment and the fans? Are there any high technology? For the experiencing, there is no device to test the altitude. Sorry, our first visitor has started, and she is successfully flying up high. And we can see the image from the sky. And the second experiencer has started. The altitude is 760 meters. And we can see the sky is very beautiful. And we can see the farm, the river, and the mountains. Deep breathing. I'm afraid. I'm feeling nervous. Relax. Relax and smile. You're doing the live stream. We can see the other experiencers are also flying up. My trainer is monitoring and controlling everything. This is like the rolling roaster, but I'm lucky because I don't have a car seat. And this is the selfie stick. My hand is grasping the chair firmly. I cannot move. He gave me another device, so now I'm holding two things on my two hands. Let's continue. It's shaking. There is airstream. It doesn't matter. This sport is mature, especially in Anji Mountain. How long will this last? About 10 minutes. If it's too long, you cannot stand. Where is the destination? The large grassland will be our destination. It's not stabilized. And you can see other experiences. Yeah. That ride paragliding wing is just above us. And we are now heading for the destination. Yeah, the landing area. Actually, I'm afraid of the height. I think our altitude becomes higher. And we will soon be arrived at the destination, but now our height becomes higher. Dear viewers, just now you have watched the video from the sky, and they are from the experiences. And now we can see on the ground the 50 top paragliders are doing the final preparations for the competition. Just in front of us, the people wearing the red hoodie is the professional paraglider from China. Excuse me, can you receive the interview? Yes. So what are the highlights for today's competition? The difficulty is that the direction of today's wind is westward, which is not proper. So for your level, how long does it take for you to complete the paragliding? 1.5 hours. I flied over this mountain before, so what was your feeling at that time? So this field for you, what are the standards and the level in China? And this field is safe and comfortable, which is suitable for experiencing and learning, because here is the southern part of China and the climate is also nice. Thank you. We will not disturb you, and please continue your preparation. Because soon the competition will start, let's find the trainer and let him introduce to us. There are also female paragliders. So once the female paraglider competing with the male athletes, are there any rules? We don't have the mixed competition. And we don't have the separation between the female and male athletes. So there is no difference between them. And the judge standards are also the same. Like if the female paraglider can get higher score, she will win the male gliders. And what are the total lengths of today? Total distance of today? because of today's wind strength, which is not appropriate for paragliding. So the speed will be controlled within 20 kilometers per hour. And the distance is 20 kilometers. Yes. For the female and male athletes, they need to fly for 20 kilometers. Just now we have the experiences. The experiences show us some image, but I think our viewers want to know more. And as this equipment is opened, we can introduce to you the requirements of these professional paragliders are more higher standardized. Because you are taking car as an example. So what are the difference? And you can see these are the professional paragliding wings, and the length and the width are standardized. This professional parachute looks very long and narrow, but for the entertainment ones, those are different. And there is another belt. We call it bed. For this cross-border competition, because we need to consider the airstream, air power, there is equipment to let your feet in. And you can see this can be the tip, which can reduce the power from the airstream. Just now you introduced that this time's competition is the point competition. And you also mentioned the flying computer. So what is that? At an earlier time, we have the specific flying computer, but now because the technology is developed, we transformed it into the cell phones. And you can see they have downloaded their competition subjects, and they will start from this point and arrive at that destination. And this is the route for the competition. And the cell phone will remind you once you arrive at any point. This is just like the steering wheel, which will show you where you are. And what is this one? It's a mini BB contact. And this machine will remind you that about your speed. If the voice is slow, it means your speed is slow. If the voice is quick, it means your speed is quick. So this also shows the airstream. Once there is change of the airstream, this BB machine will make its voice. And we can see there are sports cameras on every athlete's helmet, and this will record their flying. Yes. And this will also observe their flying, and they can learn from this after the competition, and they will do some adjustments in the future. And this can also record the beautiful moments during flying. Just now, our director told us that some netizens are leaving us a message, and they want to know that what are the judgment standards for paragliding. because the athletes will paraglide one by one. So will they judge the speed or about the destination? We judge on the speed. For the athletes who has arrived at every point, the shorter time they take, the winner they will be. For the car drivers, we also use GPS and we set the destination in advance, and the GPS will show us the route. But for the athletes, how will they judge the direction? Because we are in the sky, there are no obstacles. So we will choose our route, the direct ones. The shortest distance between the starting point and the destination, that is the direct line. And this is also the charisma of sky sports. That's the freedom and freestyling. So will they also choose the route according to their experiences? After long years of experiencing, different people choose different direction, but these are quite similar. Because this paragliding challenges people's wisdom and also their knowledge on the air, on the aerology, and they need to adjust their plans. And this also challenges their paragliding skills. So once they have mastered all skills, they can become the top paraglider. As today we have 50 top gliders here. What are the countries they come from? Okay, I don't know much about that. You know a lot about the skills. No, that's not the athlete. She's also the experiencer. I also want to ask, for paragliding sports in China, this is not yet the mass sport. I heard that there are 8,000 to 9,000 certified paragliders in China. Yes, they are less than 10,000. So what are the trends? Paragliding is a foreign sport, so we started very late. And we don't have so many skilled paragliders. But in recent years, there have been paragliding training schools and the professional paragliders who are willing to broadcast. I know that some of the athletes are sports fans, and now they are changing. They are transforming into the professional paragliders, and they are making this as their career. Yes, we also cooperate with sports schools and to train new generation of paragliders. And you can see South Korea has much smaller population than China, but they have 30,000 professional paragliders. The sport of paragliding also needs the special field. For our viewers, we may think this sport is very cool. For some people, they may think everyone can paraglide. That's not the truth. You need to be trained by professional schools or trainers. After the professional training, you can start paragliding. So for everyone, please don't learn from the website by yourself. That is quite dangerous. And this is so non-responsible for your family and yourself. Our trainer is reminding us that although paragliding is very cool, but you must join professional training, and then you can start to paraglide. And now we can see there is one paragliding wing in the sky. How about the height? It's 900 from the ground, 900 meters from the ground. It's still lifting, climbing. The speed is fast. How will you judge the airstream? Like the device? How about the flags standing here? Will they judge the airstream from these flags? The flags are just a part of them. Another important thing is that they will judge by the direction of the wind and also the geography. For some places, the geographic characteristics are different. Because the distance is 20 kilometers, once we start from here, and we will find another point. Because the air will elevate, so we need to judge according the geographic characteristics. Just now you mentioned there is a strict standards on the weight. Yes, every athlete has their own parachute, and it's just like different airplanes. There are big wings or smaller wings. And we can see the paragliders are setting off one by one. And we can see they are controlling with both hands. This is just like the steering wheel. They need to control the direction. In the sky, there are no wheel tires, and the speed changes. The pilot will judge the direction according to the airstream and the speed. And there is a braking belt on the parachutes. The braking can also guarantee the completion. Just now I said that these professional parachutes are very sensitive, so the pilots need to adjust it specifically. There is the airstream, and the pilots will grasp the chance and set off. And now in the world, for the international competitions, including the World Cup, you can see in one airstream there are even 100 paragliders. Will they collide with each other? No, for the professional athletes, they know how to prevent from the collision. And they will all follow the same direction, so there will be no conflict. And now we can see their position and the gesture. Their post is lying, and this will also support their paragliding. We have the belt, and once you sit in, you are just like lying down. Are they now looking for the best airstream so that to continue? Once they have arrived at the certain altitude, they will continue and reach the next point. I want to ask about the world record, about the height and the distance. For the international one, I'm not so sure, but for China, it's 350 meters. It's 1,350 meters. That's the highest record in China. There is a mountain in Sichuan. The highest peak is Yaomei. And that paraglider flied up. And after his paragliding, he cried out. So you said it, that's the highest record, that's 6,350 meters. Will this be dangerous? This is very special. This is not for the common competition. This is for people's willingness. We know there are sudden changes in the mountains. So before the paragliding, the pilot need to do more research, including carrying the oxygen and doing research on the routes. Once everything is prepared, they can start the paragliding over the highest mountain. So there needs very long time preparations. Yes, that's quite professional. So please don't simulate that. You said that the highest record is 6,350 meters in the world, in China. And how about the longest distance? That's about 170 kilometers. So they can fly to Taizhou. Actually, they can reach Jinhua. That's quite long. So for people who cannot buy tickets during festivals, they can paraglide and go back home. This is just a joke. The distance depends on the speed and the direction of the wind. We are purely depending on the nature. And I heard that you need to report it to relevant department before doing this sport. Yes, because we are the sky sport. The sky looks free and vast. But you need to confirm whether there will be planes before you are flying up. So we need to back up in the relevant department. And some sky areas are controlled by the military, and they have flight plans every day. So we need to report to them first. once we know that there are no civil planes or military trainings, and then we can start our paragliding. This is a female athlete. Okay, she has flight. Dear viewers, because we know there are 3 female athletes today, so we really want to interview them. Excuse me, how many years have you paraglided? 10 years. Were you fans or are you professional? It's my hobby. My job is a teacher. As you have joined this sport for 10 years, how do you feel like? I think paragliding brings me happiness. In the sky, I'm just like the eagle. I can fly to anywhere I want. And we are all people who love life and the nature. I made friends, and we talk about the nature and life. And because this is the open door outdoor sport, we can see the grassland, the sky every time. I love to travel around. So now I take my parachutes everywhere, within China or going abroad. I really appreciate paragliding. After her explanation, I also want to register for the training school and try this. You mentioned that you have competed in both China and other countries. Can you talk about today's competition? And this is the top one in China. And I hope next year there will be World Cup here, because this field is quite qualified. We can see its landing area and the geographic situation are very appropriate for paragliding, and especially for cross-border paragliding. Not every mountain is suitable for cross-border paragliding, because there are long range of mountains here. How do you see the difference between the female and male athletes? For female athletes, for some reaction and judgment, we are weaker than the male pilots, and we are more conservative. But sometimes we are more detailed. For the cross-border paragliding, the bigger parachutes are just like the bigger boats, and they are better. But for female pilots, we need to choose the smaller parachutes. So, do you think how long it will take for you to arrive at the destination? They are flying high. For me, maybe 1 to 2 hours. Thank you very much. Wish you success. And we have seen the athletes setting off one by one, and they are in the sky. Okay, dear viewers, if you are just joining us, we are now at Linhai, Zhejiang province, and here is the 2018 Zhejiang Anji Mountain International Paragliding event. The athletes from different countries are waiting for the moment and set off. Here is our trainer, today's guest, the trainer and the judge for this competition. And later on, will their computer transmit the information back? This time we didn't choose this device, so we will got all the data after their competition. Is it specific? I'm the trainer. I'm also the participant. And in this event, you can be the judge and the player at the same time, because all the data are from GPS. So during flying, all the data are recorded in the device, and after the competition, all the data will be uploaded to the judge's computer, and then we will do the judgment. Can you show us your flying computer? And we want to look at the flying map. How many years have you worked in this sport? 6 years, so you are senior. I'm close to the professional team. This shows the altitude is 787 meters. This is where we are. And these are the points we need to arrive at. And once I fly up, I will also follow this computer. And it will record your route and your speed. And finally, this will be uploaded into the computer of the judges. So you can be the judge and the player at the same time. Yes, like the project manager, he's also the player. Including the chairman of the International Federation of Paragliding, he is also a player. And we can see this sport is different because the paragliders set off one by one. It's different from the athlete racing or the running competition. Yes, there need to be gaps between different paragliders. There needs a distance. It's just the same as the airplanes. Different planes need to keep distance from each other. So how do you judge the time gap, the difference, according to the experiences? We just need to wait for 5 to 10 seconds, and then we can start. So usually the athletes judge the direction according to the experience and the climate. Usually I fly at first, but today because I'm joining your live stream, I will start later. No problem. I just hope to broadcast this sport. I'm feeling happy. I think in the future there will be more and more people loving paragliding because China's economy is developing fast. I know that in 2018's Asian Games in Jakarta, paragliding is included for the first time. Do you also have hope in future there will be international competitions in China? Yes. I hope this paragliding can be included into the Asian Games or Olympic Games. Once it's included, will you participate in those games? Definitely. Thank you very much for your professional explanations. Sorry for disturbing you and wish you a good school. Today there are 50 top athletes and they have flied up gradually. And you can look upward. They are the senior athletes and they will arrive at the points and finish their competition. We heard that the time of this competition will last from 1 hour and 1.5 hours to 3 hours. Okay, that's the end for today's live stream. I really appreciate our viewers to watch this live stream on CGTN. Thank you for watching. Today's reporter Yu Chen at Zhejiang Anji Mountain. Thank you for watching. Hope you can also support this paragliding sport.